All right, we should be live again. So if you guys don't know what happened, my stream crashed. But back to the race. Yeah. So my laptop completely crashed. It just switched off halfway through the stream. But what happened is Max Verstappen has just pit, and so have Lewis Hamilton. Both of them have come out onto the hard tyres. So both drivers are now on equal footing. Both of them pit in the exact same lap. And Hamilton and Verstappen. Now, Verstappen with the quicker pace overall, in fact. So Verstappen pulled off, well, I think he went for the undercut. And other than that, yeah, I'm back. So my stream crashed. My laptop just switched off. It just gave me like an error. So there we go. But Sergio Perez has just come into the pits as well. Let's see what what tires he decides to go out onto. But yeah, there we go. All right, let's see why this chatbot isn't working. Oh, there we go. All right, it's working as well. So cool. Yeah, my laptop exceeded track limits. Let's go. Lewis Hamilton has just come over the radio and said it's way too early to stop. So 38 laps remaining of this race. And Hamilton thinks it's too early to stop. Maybe Hamilton was trying to go for a one-stop strategy. We'll see what happens. But there we go. We have team radio from Kimi Raikkonen. Let's listen to this. Here we go. Right.
And brake comp 5. Your rear brakes are getting too cold.
Right. Yeah, so Kimi Raikkonen's rear brakes are getting too cold, and it's very important to maintain brake temperature because your brake temperature affects your tire temperature, and that is why Kimi Raikkonen has been told to pit. Not pit, sorry, change his brake bias. All right, so sorry if my commentary is completely off. Yeah, because my laptop just crashed and I have no idea what's going on. On the Mercedes team radio, they've just said to Valtteri Bottas, Mercedes, we think, Mercedes have just said to Valtteri, we think Verstappen is on 2 stops, so there's still opportunities. So it might be that they're trying to pull off a one-stop strategy with Valtteri Bottas. There is a definite, there's a good chance that could happen. Valtteri Bottas now in 5th place, right in the back of Lando Norris. We'll see if he does pit, he will come out all the way down in 12th, 13th place, but everyone else will be pulling off a 2-stop strategy, which will be obviously a lot harder to do, and we'll see if that can happen though. Yeah, there we go. All right. Wow, we've already got 8,800 people. Show the tires. Yeah, I'll show which tires that we've got. All right. So all of the front runners. Hamilton, Verstappen, and Perez are all out on the hards. So is Russell and Latifi, and then both Alphas and both Alpha Tauris are on the mediums. So we'll see which tyre is the better race tyre. Maybe it's the mediums, maybe it's the hards. But Max Verstappen with the fastest third sector, and that's not come from any tow or anything. That's just Max Verstappen's pure pace. So it looks to be game on, really. 8.3 seconds is the gap between the two guys, and hopefully that comes down, and we can have some battles going on between the two drivers. All right. Yuki Tsunoda's just made the overtake on Nikita Mazepin. Yuki Tsunoda has the quicker car and the fresher tyres, so not too difficult of an overtake there for him. And he's put himself up into 15th place, only 2 places behind his teammate, but 10 seconds behind him. So he's only 2 places behind, but 10 seconds. So, Yuki Tsunoda does have a lot of time to catch up. Sergio Perez sets the fastest third sector as well, so both Red Bulls setting fastest third sectors. So maybe there's something about the Red Bull on the hard tyres that they set very quick third sector times, who knows. But Sebastian Vettel is next up on Sergio Perez's overtake list, and Vettel is in 11th place and doing 24 laps on those soft tyres. Pirelli said that you could go 18 laps or so on the soft tyres before they start slowing down. But Seb Vettel, Esteban Ocon, Lando Norris, Fernando Alonso, all of these guys have been done for 24 laps on those soft tyres. So very, very good driving indeed. and tire management, especially considering we're in such a high speed circuit. There's loads of tire wear. We could see, well, we're looking at most people doing a 2-stop race. So doing 24 laps on the softs is very, very crazy indeed, and we'll see what happens. Where is the tense music? The tense music will only be there for the final race. Yeah. Right. Yeah, I think you can play your own tense music because I'll just get copyrighted, in fact. Valtteri Bottas has just made the overtake on Lando Norris after being stuck behind him for another 5 laps or so. So Valtteri Bottas has made his way up into 4th place. He's still yet to pit, of course, but we'll see if he can make any more progress and potentially get a podium. It's very much touch and go for Valtteri Bottas getting a podium, and the 1-stop strategy as well. Very touch and go because the tyre wear around this circuit is so high, and we saw what happened to Pierre Gasly yesterday. He did 1 lap on those soft tyres and he got a puncture and his tyre literally disintegrated. So doing a 1-stop strategy is very risky with the chance of your tyres literally disintegrating while you're driving at 200 miles an hour. So we'll see what happens there with Valtteri Bottas and what he decides to do. But Sergio Perez has just made the overtake on Seb Vettel, the driver who replaced him at Aston Martin. He's just got past him now, so Perez back into 11th place. That's where he started the race, but he has done 1 pit stop, and every single driver ahead of him, except for Verstappen and Hamilton, have not made a pit stop. So, look, he will probably gain a lot of positions. He's going to get all the way up into 6th place for sure when everyone else does pit. Verstappen, another fastest 3rd sector for him, so and a fastest 1st sector as well. So, Verstappen very much picking up the pace, and the gap has come down, guys. The gap has dropped from 8.3 seconds to 7.7. So in 2 laps, it's gone down 5/10, and it looks to be getting, well, it looks to be towards the end of the race. We're going to have a very interesting strategy, well, very interesting battle, and it's going to be pretty tense. Max Verstappen, let's see what his middle sector time is. Hamilton does not improve on his middle sector, neither does Verstappen. The middle sector is very tight and twisty, so the drivers probably aren't pushing too much because they don't want to get too much tyre wear taken out of their too much tyre life taken out of their tyres, sorry. But Fernando Alonso pits from 3rd place and comes out of the pits in 8th place. So not losing too many positions there, and the only person separating Fernando Alonso and Sergio Perez is Daniel Ricciardo. Alonso also comes out on the hards, so that looks like the preferred tyre is the hard tyres for today's race, but Perez and Gasly still remain behind Alonso, even though Perez and Gasly both did the undercut strategy. So Fernando Alonso had very good pace on those softs, and that's why he could prevent the undercut. So there we go. Right. Oh yeah, I'm going to show the lapped cars. 1 sec. There we go. Mick Schumacher has just been lapped by Lewis Hamilton. So yeah, first lapped car, and there we go. Esteban Ocon just comes into pits as well. Both Alpines coming in 1 lap after each other, and we'll see where Esteban Ocon is probably going to come out in 12th place or 13th, in fact, behind Stroll as well. We have team radio from Daniel Ricciardo. He's in 9th place now. He is yet to pit 24 laps on those medium tyres. Thomas Lord, thank you for the £79p donation. Very much do appreciate the support. Very nice of you to do that. We have team radio from Daniel Ricciardo. Let's listen to this.
So Perez behind is on 4-lap old hard tyres. Perez 1.9.
So, yeah, they're just informing Daniel Ricciardo of Perez's pace, and in fact, Perez was so quick, he's already passed him before the team radio came through. Yeah, thank you very much, Thomas Lord. You are very much a legend, and yeah. Seems like a very cool guy in real life as well. Thomas Lord just seems like such a cool name. Very much would like to meet him in real life, and yeah. Anyway, back to the race though. Sergio Perez is in 8th place, right on the back of Fernando Alonso. So the undercut worked for Perez because he got closer to Fernando Alonso, and now he has the DRS coming down the start-finish straight. He is right on his tail in the slipstream. In fact, as well, but it looks on this lap doesn't look like he can make the overtake stick. He does have the fastest third sector, but he was not close enough to make the overtake this lap. But maybe next lap, next lap it's gonna be a lot more lightly. Lando Norris has just pitted. He comes out in 11th place, and Hamilton has now picked up the pace to set the fastest lap of the race. Yeah, Thomas Lord is the Lord of Thomases. That is very cool. How many laps? There are 32 laps remaining of this race, and there are 57 laps in total. But we'll see who comes in for their second stop with 30 laps left to go. It looks like we could have drivers going all the way till the end of the race and just pitting for softs at the end, because tyre life isn't as high as we had all predicted, really. And we'll see what happens there, though. Play NCS music. Well, see, the problem with NCS music is it isn't as dramatic as some of the other music I found, but I'll play that on the final race of the season. We'll have a very epic final race of the season. Shalom has just donated 298, and thank you so much as well. Very much do appreciate the support, and yeah, it just goes to making these streams and make sure my stream doesn't crash like it has today. So I'll make sure my stream doesn't crash. Looking at the top speeds, we have Daniel Ricciardo, in fact, with the highest top speed of 344 kilometers an hour. It looks like he got a pretty big toe off someone when he got that top speed. But the Mercedes and the Red Bulls pretty much matched on top speed pace, really. Verstappen is quicker, of course, but that's because he's had the DRS and slipstream. So it's fair game for everyone on the top speed front. Everyone very, very similar to each other. And also, guys, if you haven't subscribed, be sure to do so. Trying to hit 18k by the end of this stream, and we've only got 162 subscribers left to go. Yeah. All right. Daniel Ricciardo and Seb Vettel both pit. Both of them, in fact, former teammates back in 2014, sorry. And they both come out of the pit lane alongside each other, and we'll see if Vettel can, in fact, overtake Daniel Ricciardo. The pit stop usually takes 2 or 3 seconds, but coming through the pit lane, that takes 21.4 seconds. So yeah, you lose 21.4 seconds when you do go through the pit lane. So if Max Verstappen does box, he will come out behind Valtteri Bottas, and that's something to watch out for. Obviously, Mercedes will try and hold up Max Verstappen as much as possible, and there we go. Charles Leclerc is in seventh place, but he's just lost 2 positions to Fernando Alonso and Sergio Perez. I think he must have made a mistake, because losing 2 positions isn't a very Leclerc thing to do, because Leclerc fights very, very hard when he does get into a battle. In fact, both Ferraris going into the pits. It's a double pit stop for Ferrari. I don't know exactly why they're double stacking, because it's not like they're pitting for wet tires or anything. But there we go. All right. Then we have Sergio Perez, fastest third sector from him again. So the Red Bulls very quick in the third sector. Let's see what goes, if they can continue that for the rest of the race. And the gap is coming down, guys. It was 8.3 seconds before. It's down to 1 second. Down to 7 seconds. Sorry. So Max Verstappen is slowly but surely bringing down that gap to Lewis Hamilton, and the fresh set of tyres he's going to get from his 2-stop strategy will very much help out the overtake if he is going to make one on Lewis Hamilton. Who do you think is going to win the race? I think it will be Lewis Hamilton. I obviously want Max Verstappen to win, but I think it will be pretty tough, especially on the tyres, to make the overtake on Lewis Hamilton. In fact. Lewis Hamilton, again, fastest first sector. So, yeah, Hamilton definitely has a lot of pace, but Verstappen's still in with a shot of getting the race win here. Sergio Perez is right in the back of Fernando Alonso. He's been stuck behind him for quite a few laps now, in fact. He's got the DRS and the slipstream coming down the straight, but he's just not got enough top-end speed, because the Alpine was pretty quick on the top end. In fact, Sergio Perez has just pressed the overtake button. He's now side by side with Fernando Alonso going into turn 1. Going through turn number 2 side by side. This is great wheel-to-wheel racing. Coming through turn number 3 now, Perez makes the overtake. It's a flat corner. He's got the inside inside line. And now coming up to turn 4, Fernando Alonso is the slipstream of Sergio Perez, so it's a very good battle going into turn number 4. Perez maintains the lead just over Fernando Alonso. Going into turn number 6, this is Alonso's final overtaking opportunity, and he does not make it stick. So Sergio Perez up into 4th place. It's now Mercedes, Red Bull, Mercedes, Red Bull, with Hamilton setting another fastest lap of the race. And yeah, I mean, Hamilton's pace is just absolutely electric, really. The gap went down to 7 seconds momentarily, and it's just fluctuating around that time. So we'll see what happens there. But the battle between Perez and Alonso was very much something else. And, well, very good, fair racing from both of them, leaving each other space and not driving into each other. Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton. Yeah. There are 28 laps left of this race, so we've had 31 laps of racing so far. And we have team radio from Daniel Ricciardo. Let's listen to this. Here we go.
Vettel also hard tyre. Correction, Vettel medium. Vettel medium.
Yep, Vettel was on the mediums, Daniel Ricciardo was on the hards, and Vettel made the overtake on him, on Ricciardo, and on Antonio Giovinazzi. So Vettel's up into 14th place. And yeah, just a solid drive from him, and we'll see if he can score some points. It'll be very nice if he does. Hamilton set the fastest lap of the race last lap. Verstappen has now set the fastest first sector, a green middle sector, and now coming through the final third sector, he gets a bit of a toe off George Russell as well. So let's see if Max Verstappen can now set the fastest lap of the race. They're both just trading fastest laps, really. Charles Leclerc sets the fastest third sector out of nowhere. He's right on the back of Carlos Sainz, in fact. On the map he is, at least, and then on places apparently he's behind Raikkonen. Oh no, he's right in the back of Raikkonen. I can't read. So Verstappen now sets the fastest lap of the race. So both of the top two now just trading fastest laps, and Verstappen has closed the gap down back to 6.5 seconds now. So if the gap does continue going down as it is, it's going to, by the end of the race, we're going to have a very, very close very close battle between Hamilton and Verstappen. It's going to be pretty tense. So, as the race has now settled down, the only driver in DRS is Charles Leclerc, in fact. Leclerc's in 13th place on the DRS of Kimi Raikkonen, and this is very much deja vu of lap number 5 or so, where Leclerc was stuck behind Raikkonen for quite a while. We'll see if he can get past now. He's on the slower hard tyres, which is going to make it pretty difficult, but Raikkonen's on the used mediums. 20 laps or so, in fact, he's done on those mediums, so it should be pretty easy for Leclerc, considering he's got the fastest car, but overtaking is pretty difficult around the circuit. Coming down then, the start-finish straight. Oh, in fact, Kimi Raikkonen just comes into the pits. So Kimi Raikkonen is the first driver to pit on for his second pit stop, and I think he'll be coming out on hard tyres to do the final 26 laps of this race. The gap between Carlos, we have team radio from Carlos Sainz, but the gap between himself and Lance Stroll is 3.6 seconds.
Sorry guys, my bad.
Yeah, so it looks like Sainz has made a bit of a mistake. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but he's in 10th place now, and will be looking to score a few more points with Lando Norris, who is battling in the constructors, of course, up in 7th place. We have team radio from Lewis Hamilton. Let's see what he has to say. The gap between himself and Verstappen is going down by the lap, you know. So let's listen to what he has to say.
Verstappen was a 26.6 with DRS from traffic.
So Verstappen with 26.6. So yeah, that's it. Verstappen's fastest lap of the race. So do you think Gasly should come in? I think he should. I mean, they've said that you can only do 24 laps or so on those mediums, and well, Gasly might be going maybe 2-3 more laps and then do the final stint on the mediums as well, because the hards look to be rather slow compared to the mediums. So Gasly will probably stay out 1 or 2 more laps, and then probably pit onto the mediums, and that'll be the quickest strategy for him in that AlphaTauri. Max Verstappen has now got traffic of Daniel Ricciardo, Antonio Giovinazzi and Sebastian Vettel, and he'll be getting DRS off them, but he will also be getting dirty air. So we'll see if that's going to help him close the gap up to Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton obviously has no toe from anyone else other than the slipstream of back markers, but Verstappen getting a nice toe off Daniel Ricciardo, and Ricciardo letting him by into turn number 4. So there we go. Daniel Ricciardo lets him by, and Max Verstappen gains a nice chunk of time on Lewis Hamilton. We'll see what can happen there, but there is something important to remember. If Max Verstappen does come into the pit lane, there is a very good chance that Valtteri Bottas, that he could get held up by Valtteri Bottas. So if Max Verstappen pits and then comes out behind Bottas, that could screw his race up completely. So Verstappen needs to pick up the pace, go slightly quicker than Valtteri Bottas for a few laps, and then come in for the final few laps of this race. And we'll see what happens there. But I'm pretty sure Sergio Perez, yeah, that's true. Sergio Perez will probably go to get fastest lap of this race. Oh, in fact, we have a yellow flag on the circuit. I'm just going to change the green flag to a yellow flag, but not sure exactly why we have yellow flag on the circuit. So there we go. But looks like everyone's driving around fine. Looks like someone might have damage. It might be Valtteri Bottas, maybe? Is it Valtteri Bottas? Yeah, it might be Valtteri Bottas who's got damage. He's going rather slowly. I'll keep you updated on why we had a yellow flag, but it's back to green flag racing now. Oh, we're back to yellow flag. All right. Hamilton's just set the fastest lap of the race. And yes, Valtteri Bottas has issues. Bottas has issues. So yeah, so Perez has just overtaken Valtteri Bottas, in fact. Valtteri Bottas has got a puncture, I think. So a puncture for Valtteri Bottas because he stayed out on those medium tyres for 35 laps. And that is why he's dropped down from 3rd place all the way down to 5th now. And he's just coming around the final corner and coming into the pit lane probably to get a tyre change. But Valtteri Bottas with a puncture, and that is why he is falling back through the field. We'll see if he does come into the pits. Yeah, he does come into the pits, and he will be changing his tyres. But traditions there for Valtteri Bottas. His tyres blew up in Silverstone last year. His tyres blow up in this race as well. So yeah, there we go. All right, well, now it's very, like, nearly 100% certain that Sergio Perez will pit to try and get fastest lap in this race. But in fact, if he does pit, he'll come out all the way back in like 6th or 7th place. So Perez is going to have to pick up the pace to make sure he can get the fastest lap of the race. Wow, that rhymes, doesn't it? Yeah, I mean, if Perez gets the fastest lap of the race, that means that going into the final race of the season, there's a good chance that Hamilton and Verstappen could be on equal points. That would be crazy. He does have a puncture, and I think, in fact, I'll try and get an image up, and hopefully my laptop doesn't crash. But I'll try and get an image of Valtteri Bottas' puncture. All right, so Bottas comes out of the pits and he is down into 14th place. Absolutely horrible there from Valtteri Bottas. He was running such a good race. He did such a long stint on those medium tyres. He did, in fact, more than half the race on the medium tyres. And now he has got a puncture and is out in 14th place. I'll just get an image here. In fact, yeah, we've got some nice pictures. So there we go. Off the track, it was his front left, really. Yeah, as you can see, his front left and his whole thing was scraping on the floor. So that's why Valtteri Bottas is now down into 14th place. And it's not ideal. He went all over the gravel. His engine covers will have a bunch of gravel as well. And this will be a comeback for Red Bull in the Constructors' Championship, because if we look at the Constructors' Championship standings, the gap between Mercedes and Red Bull is now 11 points. But, well, it was 11 points. But now, with Bottas out of the points in 14th place, this is going to be advantage Red Bull, and it could actually be that Red Bull have the lead in the Constructors' Championship after this race. So that's going to be exciting. And we'll see what they can do with that, because it'll be the first time ever that another team will be leading the drivers and the Constructors' Championship since, like, I think it must have been like 2013 or something. I have no idea, but it's been a very long time. It's definitely not in the turbo hybrid era that we've had a different team other than Mercedes leading both the drivers and the constructors. So very exciting very exciting, and we'll see what happens. There are 22 laps remaining of this race. Hamilton, once again, fastest middle sector, and the battle that we're hoping for between Hamilton and Verstappen is not coming to fruition, really, because Verstappen's pace has just dropped off, whereas Hamilton is just ploughing on with fastest sectors and fastest laps all around. And yeah, let's see what they can do. All right, back to the race though. We have someone has just pitted. Pierre Gasly has just pitted. Yep. So as predicted, Pierre Gasly has just pit after doing a 25 lap stint on those mediums, and has come out on another set of mediums, and now he has 21 laps left to go. So looks like he can make it to the end of those race on the mediums, and yeah, we'll find out what happens. Alrighty. So Daniel Ricciardo is now into 12th place. Still not made any progress, in fact, up the field. Vettel overtook him a long time ago, and he hasn't got any closer to him. So Daniel Ricciardo is still struggling in that McLaren. Lando Norris, his teammate, is up in 5th place on the hard tyres, and lapping pretty consistently. He's basically not near anyone. Alonso's 9 seconds up the road, and then Ocon's 3 seconds behind him. So Lando Norris having a nice little Sunday drive, really, in Qatar. Sat in 5th place. 21 laps left to go of this race, and we'll see who comes out on top. All right. We have team radio from Lewis Hamilton. Let's just listen to this. Here we go. Whoops. Right.
Verstappen 26.9. Still gravel exit 7.
Yep, so there is gravel on the exit of turn number 7. That's where Valtteri Bottas went off because of his puncture, and that's why Lewis Hamilton's just been told not to go there, as it very much does screw up the entirety of your, it screws all of your tires up, and yeah, not ideal really. All right. Max Verstappen, another fastest third sector, so no idea where his fastest third sectors are coming from, but overall in terms of pace, the gap has been re-extended to 8.5 seconds. Oh, hello, Multi Ninja. Nice to see that you're back. Yeah, all right. So Fernando Alonso has just come over the radio and has just said, I really enjoyed these laps. The car is very nice today. Well, Fernando Alonso is sat in 4th place, and he's in fact closing up on, he's very close to Sergio Perez in terms of pace. In fact, quicker on some laps, really. This lap he was 0.2 quicker. So Fernando Alonso could potentially get a podium if Perez decides to pit for fastest lap of the race. But we'll find out what happens there. Thank you, Game of Fabtion King, as well, for banning the spammers. All of the mods are back. Also, guys, while there's 8,000 of you here, I'm going to be running a giveaway on my on all of my stuff. So we're going to have 3 people from the Discord, 3 people from my Instagram and Twitter followers, and 3 people from my Instagram followers, 3 people from my Twitter followers, and then one of our YouTube moderators. And I only have like 50 people following me on Twitter. So if you do follow me, you stand a pretty good shot of winning a Kimi Raikkonen cap. So my Twitter is F1_gamer_5, and that's the same for my Instagram. And they are in the description, and so is the Discord. But back to the race, we have Yuki Tsunoda right on the back of Nicholas Latifi battling for 15th place, and they've just been lapped. Still I Rise, thank you for the donation. Very much appreciate it. I mean, yeah, it's just very, very lovely for you guys to support the channel. And yeah, thank you so much. And hopefully this will mean I can get a laptop that doesn't crash. But the 2-stop strategy is definitely the fastest way to do this race, really, as we've seen with Valtteri Bottas pitting and then completely getting his race ruined. The 2-stop strategy is the way to go, and we are coming up to the pit stop window between Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. So well, no, for the pit stop window for their tyres, really, it should be only a matter of laps before everyone does go into the pits and start doing their final pit stops of the race, going on to their third stint. With only 18 laps left to go, there's a very good chance that we could have drivers pitting onto the soft tyres. That'll be very interesting, and we could definitely see Max Verstappen get the fastest lap of the race. If he pits onto the soft tyres, he could just go full send and just pit. In fact, Max Verstappen's going to get the fastest lap of this race this weekend, because Sergio Perez is nearly 53 seconds behind him. So, yeah, Sergio Perez 53 seconds behind his teammate, and Max Verstappen will pit this race, and he will get the fastest lap of the race as well, and that's going to help him 1 point in the Constructors' Championship, in the Drivers' Championship, and every single point counts, because it is so close in between these two teams and two drivers. We have team radio from Nicholas Latifi. He's just been overtaken by Yuki Tsunoda. Let's listen to what he has to say.
I know, but f*** my Georges now.
No, do not. No.
Copy.
So that's an no, mate. Manage your front left and you watch out for Tsunoda.
Understood. I was only going to try one more lap anyways, but... Copy. You had to make it clear before.
Right. Yeah, so I think there's a battle between Latifi and Russell, and yeah, they were just deciding whether not to overtake, or team orders were going to happen down at Williams. But Valtteri Bottas, yeah, so as I was saying, Perez will not pit for fastest lap of the race, because if he does, then he will lose positions to Alonso and Norris and stuff. But Max Verstappen will pit, and he'll get fastest lap of the race, and that will help out. But yeah, if Verstappen stops on the final lap, then that will... then obviously Hamilton won't be able to respond there. So, let's see. Pierre Gasly, we have team radio from him. He's in 11th place. He started the race all the way up in 2nd place, but it's sort of gone downhill from here, because usually Pierre Gasly is very strong in the race as well, but by the looks of it, this weekend just wasn't for him. I don't know exactly what happened. He sort of fell off at the start of the stint. His first stint of the race. He got a lot of dirty air, and that really screwed over his first stint, and that's sort of his second stint as well. That's very much hampered him in making any sort of progress. So he's down in 11th, whereas Fernando Alonso, who started in 3rd place, he's now up in still in 4th place. So good job there from Fernando Alonso. But let's listen to Pierre Gasly's radio, who's in 11th.
How many laps have Vettel tires?
9 laps.
Yeah.
What pace is he doing?
28.5, mid 28.
Right, so I think they were just talking about someone's pace. I'm not sure exactly who they were talking about, but Max Verstappen has just come into the pit lane, and he's gone onto the mediums. All right, so with 16 laps left to go, Max Verstappen has pit for the undercut. Let's see if Hamilton has anything to reply in terms of a fastest sector or something, but... yeah, Hamilton's in fact right on the back of Stroll trying to lap him. Hamilton's middle sector is nothing amazing really, and we'll see if now he does pit and like come out. If he does pit, yeah. Sergio Perez in fact has just boxed as well. That's interesting. I don't know why Sergio Perez has just come into the pit lane, but both Red Bull, they just pit both Red Bulls on the same lap. Very interesting strategy there. And then Fernando Alonso is now up into 3rd. Hamilton comes into the pits as well. All right, so it's game on now. 16 laps till the end of this race. Verstappen sets the fastest middle sector. So Hamilton's tyres will be cold coming out the pit lane. Verstappen's will be warm. But I think the gap will be too big for Verstappen to get from a 1-lap undercut. And yeah, they're not gambling to try and get to the end of the race without pitting. So Hamilton comes out with a comfortable margin ahead of Max Verstappen. And I think the gap is going to be around about 7 seconds or so. And yeah, there we go. Yeah, they don't want to risk the puncture really. So that's what's happened there. Lewis isn't out. Where it says out, it means he's on an out lap. So he's come out the pit lane and he's on an out lap. That's why he's green instead of being blue or whatever. So, but they're basically copying the strategy. And yeah, the gap was 8.5 seconds before the pit stop, and it is 8.5 seconds after the pit stop. So the undercut strategy hasn't exactly worked as intended, and yeah, so that's what's happened there. Perez, in fact, he's pitted down into 7th place, and he's got the fastest middle sector, and he'll be looking to fight his way back up into 3rd place and hopefully get a podium. Yeah, Red Bull's plan didn't exactly work out. I mean, they have an undercut of 1 lap, but it's going to be pretty difficult if they do want to catch up to him because, yeah, I mean, 8.5 seconds in 14 laps is going to be ridiculously hard, especially considering they're both on the same one lap old medium tyres, but we'll see what happens. We have team radio from Esteban Ocon. Let's listen to what he has to say.
Esteban, we must maintain management in turn 12. It is not an option.
Copy.
Come on, mate. We've got this.
Yep, so management in turn 12 is going to be critical because turn 12 is basically the corner where you have to go full send if you want to like gain a load of time. So if you don't go full send, you can lose a bit of time but conserve your tires, and they need to do that because your left front and your left rear get so much wear and tear going through turn number 12. That's the main reason why Valtteri Bottas got a puncture. His front left, because of turn number 12, had so much damage, he got a puncture. So that's why Esteban Ocon's being told to manage the wear and tear on turn number 12. Perez now, fastest lap of the race, in 7th place. That once again has just rhymed. But now he'll be looking to get past Lance Stroll. He's 1.3 seconds up the road, and Perez has a massive tyre advantage. So it should not be too difficult for him to make that overtake. All right, we have team radio from Charles Leclerc, but Hamilton has just asked over the team radio, are we on the same tyres? And the answer, obviously, is yes. Hamilton and Verstappen both on the mediums, and the fastest lap shenanigans will begin at the end of this race because that 1 point could very well be the point that decides the championship. It's just been so close. But Alonso is up in 3rd, and Alonso did a very, very good first stint on those soft tyres. He did, I think, 24 laps or 25 laps on those soft tyres. So if he can do that on the softs, he can definitely make the hard tyres last to the end of the race and maybe do a one-stop strategy. So Sergio Perez is going to have to pick up the pace to try and get all the way up into 3rd place. Oh, I'm so good at these rhymes. I've literally made the same rhyme, which is like place and race or something like this. But anyway, Perez now right on the back of Lance Stroll, coming out the final corner, turn number 16. He has the DRS, he has the slipstream. 8 tenths is the gap at the start of the straight. He is tucked right into the toe, but not being able to get past this lap. It will probably be a lap or 2 before he does get past, because Stroll looks like he's still got some tyre life in those hards. He set a personal best lap time just then, so making that overtake for Sergio Perez has just got that tiny little bit harder. Lewis Hamilton, fastest 1st and 2nd sectors. He's now just about to cross the line with the fastest, just a personal best middle 3rd sector, and our fastest lap of the race, a 1:25.2, so much quicker than Max Verstappen's previous lap, 7 tenths in fact. So there we go. Hamilton obviously still has the pace on those medium tyres. He's just pitted for them. In fact, we've just hit 18k, guys. Thank you everyone for subscribing. Very much do appreciate the support. And the more subscribers we get, the closer we are to 20k by the end of the season. So if you have not subscribed, be sure to do so. Will help out the channel. And also hit the like button as well. You probably hit it for the previous stream, but that did crash. So yeah, if you don't mind hitting the like button again, that would be very much appreciated. All right, Perez once again right on the back of Stroll, this time 2 tenths closer, so the slipstream will be a lot more powerful, and then the DRS will be as well. All right. So coming down start finish straight, the DRS flap is wide open, 85 millimeters, guys. The DRS slot is 85 millimeters, as Lewis Hamilton learned last race. But Perez makes the overtake on Lance Stroll going into turn one. Stroll does not fight it very much because it's a pointless battle, really. Perez in the quicker car on the quicker tires. Makes his way past, and next up for Perez's overtaking list is Esteban Ocon. Also, guys, with only 11 laps left to go of today's race, be sure to let me know who is your driver of the day. In fact, Verstappen has now just set the fastest lap of the race, 2/10 quicker than Hamilton's fastest lap of the race. Why is Mercedes so fast in the final 3 or 4 races? Maybe if you stop spamming, that'd be appreciated. Yeah, definitely stop spamming. But Mercedes are just quicker because it looks like it's just their kind of circuits, really. And also, yeah, Chies is a mod multi-ninja. I just added him today, in fact. So that's very nice. But yeah, and you guys are in the giveaway. You're much more likely to obviously win the Kimi Raikkonen cap the special Kimi Raikkonen cap that they've made for the fact that he's retiring this season. 20 years in Formula 1 for Kimi Raikkonen. What a career he has had. But Perez has now closed up to Esteban Ocon in the slipstream, in the tow once again. Coming out the final corner, has a bit of a squirm under acceleration. That dirty air very much not helping him out. And now in the start-finish straight, they are side by side. Perez makes the move, and solid overtake there. And Ocon once again does not fight it because it, with Perez on the quicker tires, does not matter really. Yeah, all right then. There is a Kimi Raikkonen cap there's a giveaway. So 3 of my Instagram followers, 3 of my Twitter followers, and 3 people in the Discord, and then 1 of our moderators is going to win it. So I'll be picking that at the end of the season. So be sure to go follow me on Instagram and Twitter and Discord. The link, and don't follow me on Discord, join the Discord, and the links are all in the description. But the thing is F1_gamer_5 on Instagram and Twitter. Back to the race though. We have now Perez has got a very big gap to close in 10 laps now. We have Norris and Alonso, both drivers in 3rd and 4th place, and there is a very, very good chance Fernando Alonso could get a podium. So let's see what actually happens. But we have team radio from Max Verstappen. He is in 2nd place. Bottas had a puncture, so that's why he's all the way down in 12th. But we have team radio from Max Verstappen now. Let's listen to what he has to say.
Cancel tyre save this lap.
Yeah, so cancel tyre save. That meant just go for fastest lap of the race. And that is what Max Verstappen did. He has now got the fastest lap of the race with a 1 minute 25.0. And there we go then. All right, so Esteban Ocon has been told to go to the end of this race. So there's 10 laps remaining in this race, and there are 20. And Esteban Ocon has done 23 laps on those hard tyres. It's going to be tough to get to the end of the race on a 1-stop, but all of these guys are very good at managing their tyres. Obviously, they're Formula 1 drivers. This is they've got to do that so much more since the Pirelli era has begun. Yeah, all right, so we have team ready from Hamilton now. The gap has been extended to 9 seconds. It was previously 8.5, now it's up to 9. Let's see what he has to say.
Verstappen at 8.6. His last lap 25.0 was with DRS. He also has a free pit window.
All right, so they were just informing Hamilton that Max Verstappen can pit and still come out in 2nd place. So it's basically pointless to try and go for fastest lap of the race, because Max Verstappen, if he does pit, he'll go out on the soft tyres and just blitz in like a 1 minute 23 or something. But there we go. All right then. 9 laps left of this race, and Kimi Raikkonen is in the DRS of George Russell. And Kimi Raikkonen, in fact, has a massive tyre advantage. 13-lap fresher tyres for Kimi Raikkonen. And we'll see if he can make the overtake stick. They're currently just going through the middle sector where overtaking is next to impossible. But they'll be coming soon onto the start-finish straight where they have a very good shot of getting some overtakes in. All right, so Back to, what was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say. Oh yeah, Kimi Raikkonen. Kimi Raikkonen is now just coming down the start-finish straight behind George Russell. He obviously has a slipstream because he's within a second. And he has a DRS, sorry, because he's within a second. And coming down the start-finish straight, he pulls alongside George Russell and makes the move into turn number 1. And just, yeah, very nice move there from Kimi Raikkonen. Still got the pace, and he's in 15th place. Oh, pace and place, that rhymes. Oh, I am just on this today. We've got 10,000 people watching. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Very much do appreciate all of the support. And yeah, lovely. And if you haven't subscribed, be sure to do that because we're trying to hit 18k subs, and we are now on, well, no, we've hit 18k subs, trying to hit 20k subs, and we're now on 18.2k. Anyway, Hamilton, a fastest first sector. So it looks like Hamilton's now trying to go for fastest lap of the race. Norris actually pits. Okay, so Lando Norris could not go to the end of the race on those tyres, and that is why he has decided to pit. He will come out now in 10th place. So he was all the way up in 4th and now down into 10th. So not ideal there for Lando Norris. With a yellow flag, I'm not sure exactly why. I'll change the thing to yellow flag. There we go. Oh, it's back to green flag. Never mind. Oh, we're back to yellow flag. Right, there we go. Why do we have a yellow flag this time? Let's see who's going slowly. Is it Valtteri Bottas? No, I think it's someone else who's going slowly. Because if Valtteri Bottas got double punctures, that would be horrible. And Bottas is going slowly though. Bottas is into the pits. So I don't know why Bottas is just pit. But he's coming out now in 18th place. And yeah, not exactly sure why he's pit there. It might be he's trying to get fastest lap of the race, but he's in 18th place, so I don't get it. Right. Verstappen is 9.6 seconds away from Lewis Hamilton. That gap is going up and up, and there we go then. Russell and Bottas both coming into the pits. I don't know. Are they retiring in the race? I'm not exactly sure why they're in the pits, really. Yeah, they've been in the pits for quite a while. So I think, yeah, Bottas is retiring the car. And, yeah, the flags are out because George Russell has got front wing damage. All right. So George Russell's coming to the pits for the front wing. And Valtteri Bottas has retired from the race because there's no point running since he's not going to get any points anyway. All right, then. So Sergio Perez has now got 6 laps to close a 12-second gap up to Fernando Alonso. Otherwise, Fernando Alonso is going to get a podium. So that's very, very exciting. I don't think Fernando Alonso's got a podium since like 2013. So it'll be nice to see him right up at the front again. And yeah, looking forward to it then. And all right, so Lando Norris making quick progress, in fact, overtakes Pierre Gasly to put himself up into 10th place. Now he has Seb Vettel up the road, and then after Seb Vettel, it will be pretty difficult to catch up to anyone else because the gap is so big. And yeah, so that means Ferrari extend their championship advantage over McLaren even more. And that's going to be, well, it's going to be pretty difficult for McLaren to claw it back in the final 2 races of the season. They're going to have to get like a double podium or something. They're going to have to get 2 podiums or something with both Ferraris out of the points. And Latifi has a puncture. All right, so Latifi had a puncture, and that's why we had the flashing yellow flag and back to green flag. So Latifi had a puncture, and that's why he came into the pits. And then Valtteri Bottas retired, and George Russell had a front wing damage. So all chaos down there at the back. Also, guys, yeah, it's going to be Fernando Alonso's podium, first ever podium, because he's a rookie, isn't he? If you guys don't remember, Fernando Alonso took part in a young driver test back in Abu Dhabi, like at the start of this year. So Fernando Alonso is totally a rookie, guys. This is going to be a first ever podium in Formula 1 history. I mean, it's going to be so crazy. But there are 5 laps remaining of this race, and Fernando Alonso is still in 3rd place. Sergio Perez has closed the gap up a bit, but not enough to warrant catching Fernando Alonso. In fact, he could, because there were 6 laps remaining of this race, and the gap between Alonso and Perez was 12 seconds, sorry. And now Alonso, and the gap now with 5 laps left to go is 9.3 seconds. So every single corner, Sergio Perez is quicker, and that's to be expected. Perez has the fresher medium tyres, and Alonso is basically nursing those hards home. But on the final lap of this race, we could have a final podium battle, really. So we'll find out what happens there. But we have team radio from George Russell. He had front wing damage. Let's listen to what he had to say. Whoops, here we go.
Front up.
Copy that.
Front left.
Understood. Okay, we're ready.
Yeah, let's do it, James. Let's do it. Mid 12.
Just mid 12.
Is traffic.
Yeah, it's Schumacher, and then it's clear. Alonso in 4. Alonso in 2. I'm going to put +2 turns of wing in as well. Quali tyre going on. 7 laps to go.
Right, so yeah, George Russell and Nicholas Latifi both getting punctures. Everyone's getting loads of punctures, really. It's such a high-speed circuit. There's loads of tyre wear, and that's why we're seeing loads of punctures. But Max Verstappen with the fastest first sector now coming through the second sector. Looks like he'll get a bit of a toe off Lando Norris and Seb Vettel if he does continue at this pace. His middle sector is a personal best, and then his third sector will be, let's see what it is. But Alonso still in with a shot of a podium. 8 seconds now is the gap between himself and Perez, and there's 4 laps left to go. So Perez is closing the gap, but obviously once you close the gap, it's a lot harder to actually make the overtake stick, especially on Fernando Alonso, who definitely knows how to defend, as we've seen throughout this season. And Max Verstappen's third sector is purple, and he sets the fastest lap of the race at 1 minute 24.0. So a full second quicker than his previous fastest lap. And yeah, very good job there from Max Verstappen. He's closed the gap up to Lewis Hamilton, and there's only 3 laps left to go though. So doesn't look like Max Verstappen will be winning this race, but there we go. Yeah, punches seem pretty inevitable because there's just such a high-speed circuit going around these corners. There's so much load going through these tyres as well. It's quite ridiculous, really. All right. Ooh, we've got a virtual safety car. All right. I have no idea why we have a virtual safety car. I'll let you know. Someone's going slowly. Well, everyone's going slowly because we've got a virtual safety car, in fact, but I'm not sure who's stopped or why we have this one. Once I find out, obviously, I'll let you know, but it looks like there's probably just debris on track. I think it's George Russell's front wing. That's probably the biggest bit of debris that's on track right now. But let's find out what can happen. This virtual safety car is not helping out Sergio Perez, and it is helping out Fernando Alonso to get his first, his podium. So 3 laps remain of this race. We are under virtual safety car conditions. Hamilton won't. Oh no! If he does pit, he'll come out behind Max Verstappen. So there's no point. But Verstappen is pitting. So Verstappen pits under the virtual safety car. We'll get a fresh set of soft tires. We'll get the fastest lap of the race, and we'll still come out ahead of Fernando Alonso. So don't know exactly why we do have the virtual safety car. Very interesting. Yeah. Oh, it's Latifi's car. All right. So Latifi's car is on the side of the road, and the marshals have gone to get it. So that's why we have a virtual safety car. And if they don't pick the car up in 2 laps, we're going to finish the race under the virtual safety car, which will have never happened in Formula 1 history. So that will be something new, I guess. But we have team radio from Daniel Ricciardo. Let's listen to what he has to say.
Daniel, we need to still beat Tsunoda. There's nothing specific about your tyres, so you need to beat Tsunoda. Go quicker through high speed if you have to. Tsunoda 0.8 now.
Yeah, I'm just getting so many mixed messages.
Copy. Overtake available. Priority 1, beat Tsunoda.
Right, so they're telling Daniel Ricciardo to overtake Yuki Tsunoda, but the problem is Daniel Ricciardo's done 28 laps on those hard tyres, and with the amount of punctures that we're getting, it might be a pretty unsafe strategy to try and go to try and overtake Yuki Tsunoda. In fact, Daniel Ricciardo has overtaken Yuki Tsunoda. He did it just before the virtual safety car, but he's going to have to manage... Well, in fact, we're under virtual safety car conditions, so I don't think we're going to get any overtakes happening under the virtual safety car. But we have now 1 lap left of this race now. Lewis Hamilton is driving on the final lap of this race with pole positions. Bottas could have got fastest lap from Max. I think he could have, but he wouldn't have got the point. So I think Max Verstappen might have still got the point. Who knows? Also, guys, we're very close to hitting 1,000 likes. So if you haven't subscribed, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. And we are back to green flag racing. So there we go. Whoops. There we go. Green flag right there. All right then, so Lewis Hamilton just crossing through the first sector line, and it looks very, very likely that we're going to get a Fernando Alonso podium, guys. The gap between himself and Perez is 5.6 seconds, so unless Alonso gets, what does he get? A puncture, Fernando Alonso is very likely to be getting a podium here. So that's very exciting. And Hamilton's now just coming through the final third sector of his lap and of the race as well. How did Alonso get into P3? Well, he started the race in third because of grid penalties for Bottas and Verstappen, and that's why he's just maintained an amazing race. But here comes Lewis Hamilton out of the final corner now. He sees the checkered flag and he takes the victory for the first ever Qatar Grand Prix. Absolutely amazing drive from Lewis Hamilton. Just maintained the lead of this race from start to finish. And yeah, just absolutely amazing drive from him. And great job, really. The gap in the championship is down from 14 points to 6 points now, so it's getting closer and closer. 6 points gap between Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton in the drivers championship. So solid drive there from Lewis Hamilton. Max Verstappen had an amazing race start, recovered from his 5-place grid penalty to finish the race in second place with the fastest lap of the race. So the gap is the gap is not 6 points. The gap is 8 points. Never mind. Yeah, the gap is 8 points between Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. And yeah. So there we go. While there are 12,000 people of you watching, I have a giveaway running on Instagram and Twitter and Discord. So the links are all in the description, so be sure to go join. And I'll be picking 3 from Instagram, 3 from Twitter, 3 from Discord to win Kimi Raikkonen caps. So be sure to follow me on there. It's F1_gamer_5. But this is the end of the race, and Fernando Alonso gets the podium. He crosses the line, has got a podium. So amazing drive from Fernando Alonso. I mean, we saw what happened to Pierre Gasly. Pierre Gasly was in second place. He was ahead of Fernando Alonso, in fact, and he's dropped all the way down to 11th. We had Lando Norris, who was in 4th place, 1 position behind Fernando Alonso, and has finished the race in 9th place. So it was a solid drive from Fernando Alonso to start the race in 3rd, finish the race in 3rd, because we saw all of the other midfield teams dropping back. So solid job there from Fernando Alonso. And that's his first ever podium since 2013. Yes, very crazy indeed. And nice to see him back on the podium, really. All right. So that is that then. That has been the 57 laps of Qatar. It was a pretty weird finish, nearly under virtual safety car conditions, really. But yeah, solid drive from Lewis Hamilton to maintain that lead over Max Verstappen for the entirety of this race and didn't let anything slip. Only had one mistake in the entire race somewhere through the 3rd sector, and other than that, just an absolutely amazing drive from both Alonso and Hamilton. And Verstappen is going to have to pick up the pace here, going into Saudi Arabia. 8 points is the gap between Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. So this is like coming up to be the closest battle that we've had in Formula 1 in years. So yeah, no worries, Kies. And all right, there are 2 races left to go now, just Saudi Arabia, and then we have Abu Dhabi. 2 races in the Middle East, and this will be, it's the race in Saudi Arabia is in 2 weeks' time, and yeah, just very, very exciting, and we'll see what happens there. And that's just going to make the championship ever more exciting. And I think by my calculations, no, I haven't actually done any calculations, but I think in the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull will be ahead of Mercedes, or I think they'll be very, very close at least. So I'll just, in fact, calculate it on my phone. But the gap was 11 points before, and now it is, let's see, 37. Oh no, 31. No, the gap. No, Mercedes still lead the Constructors' Championship, I think. Yeah, Mercedes still lead the Constructors' Championship by 5 points now. So it's getting very, very close. 5 points between Mercedes and Red Bull in the Constructors, and then 8 points between Verstappen and Hamilton in the Drivers. Very, very close indeed. And I cannot wait to find out who wins this race, who wins the next 2 races, and who goes on to win the championship. Right, yeah, Fernando Alonso wins the Rookie of the Year. Yeah. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. Very much do appreciate all the support. And yeah, I will be streaming for the race in Saudi Arabia as well, for the qualifying and the races as usual, really. Who is driver of the day? I'm not particularly sure. I think it might be Fernando Alonso because he got the podium, but I'm not sure. I haven't checked. But yeah, solid drive and a pretty interesting race. We'll have this track on the calendar for next year as well. So it's the first ever Qatar Grand Prix, and I think they have a 10-year deal with Formula One. So we'll be coming back to the circuit, and we can expect lots of punctures, lots of chaos with 2-stop strategies, and yeah, and lots of high-speed corners as well. And right, just further down the field, I'm just going to update. So Ocon finished the race in 5th. Stroll had a very good drive. He got up into 6th place. Then Sainz and Leclerc 7th and 8th. Lando Norris in 9th and Seb Vettel in 10th. Then we have both AlphaTauris out of the points in 11th and 13th. Ricciardo in 12th. The 2 Alphas in 14th and 15th. Schumacher, Russell and Mazepin in 16th, 17th and 18th, and then Latifi and Bottas both retired from today's race. So that has been that. First ever podium in over 7 years for Fernando Alonso. Yeah, a very long time since he did get a podium. And thank you everyone for all of the support, and I can see all your nice messages in the chat. Do appreciate it. And yeah, make sure to follow me for the giveaways, of course, and I'll be streaming, yeah, in Saudi Arabia. Oh, we have team radio from Fernando Alonso, in fact. So let's just listen to this before you all leave, and then I'll end the stream. Right.
Yeah, been waiting 7 years for this, mate.
Yeah, he's just said, been waiting 7 years for this. So good job there from Fernando Alonso. I mean, I don't know what else to say. So there we go. What a drive. What a drive. Lovely. All right, so thank you everyone for tuning in, and I'll be streaming in 2 weeks' time. And what else was I going to say? Oh yeah, have a nice morning, day, afternoon, evening, depending on where you are in the world. And I will see you in 2 weeks. Cheers, fellas.